think is one key to longevity in the music industry?
Continue learning every day. Always be able to, to stay on top of technology and just seeing what's going on and trying to just whatever's new, man. Just kind of take your time, just like reading the paper. Like, just like, okay, I remember when it was like streaming is going to be the big thing, and if you didn't embrace streaming a couple of years ago, you left behind. And right now, the music industry, once again, we're left behind slightly, kind of like MP3. Because if you want to look it up on it, it's like streaming is going to be the future, or is the future right now in music. And the only problem we got is trying to equate what streams should equal the money that we were making when it was, first it was hard copy, now it went to digital, we accepted MP3, and now it's that I don't want to own any of this shit. I just want to subscribe, whatever. So essentially what's going to happen if you stay on top of this stuff, streaming is going to make the music industry more money in the long haul than it's ever seen in its existence of being created. They just got to work out the kinks, the kinks or whatever, right? How to rate everything. But that's the thing. You got to keep learning. You got to go, wow, so, streaming. What is it? And what we didn't realize in the music industry during streaming, if you're not on top of it, is that we were being taught to stream and didn't even realize that we were streaming. So just think about it, right? When was it at a point in the internet that any song you wanted to hear, you Google it and you pull it up on YouTube? That was probably like 07, 08. You'd be like, oh, so-and-so's out. And then it'll play the record, even if it's just like a little picture or whatever. But if you wanted to hear the record right there for free and not go to iTunes and hear a minute of it, and you wanted to hear the whole record, you kept pulling up YouTube. You were streaming. YouTube is the biggest streaming service in, the world, bigger than Pandora, bigger than Spotify, the whole thing. You know what I mean? But I think you just gotta be smart, man. You gotta be your technology, be smart, all of those things, whatever.
I think before I was asking you about, to recall a time where you made a mistake in the music industry and how you rebounded. I
think one of the biggest mistakes I made is that, I don't know if I could have been successful doing this. So this is one of those like conundrums for me, right? Interesting story. I forgot the guy's name. I wish I knew the names of these people because I feel like I'm a historian. I don't know. The reason why the U.S., we won the war against the Brits, right, is because when we were just farmers in America and all this stuff, we had guns, they call it the militia. It was a guy that basically taught George Washington how to actually take these farmers and whatever and organize them to be military people. Attention means this, do that. And I remember seeing this maybe on some show called Pawn Stars. They actually had the original book that the guy wrote, whatever, right? Maybe he was an ex-military guy from Britain, helped him. But the book set up, where your latrines are versus where your food is, and where the grunts you go in, and where the generals sit and the captains and one of the biggest mistakes I think I made is that I learned from researching that is that the generals don't sleep where the infantry people sleep. Does that make sense? And I think that one of the biggest mistakes I made, I think I got too close with my artists and I allowed them to sleep too close to me. And what I mean by that is just being in my personal space to the point where I think we both took advantage of the fact that we was always around each other. And I think sometimes if you are an executive and a manager, you have to kind of separate yourself from your artist. So there's some distinction between the two. You know what I mean? That was one of my biggest mistakes, just getting too close to the artist. And, I'm sure I'm not the first or the last to make that mistake, because when you think about a lot of the successful artists, without that, what I did, that artist probably wouldn't be here. I don't think Biggie would be here if Puffy wasn't real close to Biggie and had to understand it and figure out how to sell it. And maybe from that closeness, maybe, you don't know, he died and they was close and they felt certain things about what they should and shouldn't do and the little beefs and all that. So you really don't know. It's like a double-edged sword, but I think my mistake is really getting too close. I've always told my artists at a certain point after college, like, if I don't know, I don't know. And that's actually worked for me. Even with separating with some of the clients I had, they would always go, no, you never said you knew when you didn't know, and you always said you'll find out. That was always good. I would just say probably getting too close was probably my biggest mistake overall. Yeah, getting too close.
Professionally, what do you think is your next level?
Learning how to dance level. No, I really do want to learn a little about it. Professionally, you know what? I think that God has prepared me to, hopefully, what I feel is my life mission to an extent is to be to help figure out the new music industry with some type of integrity and some type of passion for the art. You know what I mean? I think that wherever God has put me in with Atlantic or whatever the future holds, I think my job is exactly what I wanted from the beginning. I said, God, I just want to be the guy that you researched. Back then it was on an album, right? Cassette. Now it's like on the internet or whoever you research to say, if I can only get to him, I know he's going to keep it 100 and he's going to bust his ass to make sure that my talent is brought to the forefront with dignity. You don't mean he's supposed to stay with me. It's just I always wanted to be that guy that kind of, you know, how people say Clyde Davis, and like Clyde Davis, you know he done, you know, L.A. Reid. I just want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I want people to know he's going to give me a fair shot. You know what I mean? And really try to bust. And that's who I want to be. And that's who I really want to be while I'm at Atlantic. That's the guy. I want to be the guy that don't sit there and be a prima donna and ask for a million different things. And I'm the type of guy that, regardless as an executive or not, if my artist is not at a level as an artist where they can fly first class, but I could fly first class and I have an option to say, I'll fly in the back and you can do first class, it's going to make you feel better. I don't really care as long as I'm sitting next to a window. And a lot of us artists, A&Rs, managers are superstars too. And I just don't think you can be a superstar next to an artist that, you know what I mean? If you're an executive, I think you always take the back seat. You know what I mean? I don't think you should always be in the pictures. I don't think you should always be in first class. Like, you know, it's whatever it takes to get the job done. I've taken a lot of shorts from every client I work with and said, okay, well, we'll figure it out. They ain't got the money, I'll put the money in. If we can't afford a video, we'll shoot the video ourselves. Who gonna hold the camera? I will. We'll get it done. And some of those things come very successful. You know, I think my job is to bring whatever that is, you know, give real artists a place to get to me, you know, and I think part of this procedure in the label is just building up that trust and stuff with, you know, with Atlantic and Craig, which is great, and Julie and Kaiser and Ray and all these guys, man, and KP, and I mean, all of us are running. It's like, hey, man, let's play as a team together, man, and let's get it together. Just reward me when we successful big so I can say that it wasn't in vain. You know, I got a couple of kids to put to college, okay?